just wanted to let you know that I'm an idiot. Oh, that's amazing. Look at that fish. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got another test for you today. I finally figured out my 308 shorty, 14.5 inch barrel. We've got a pin and weld in the front to make it a legal 16 inch barrel, and I was having some cycling issues with this. The guys at 75th Bunker recommended that I use a rifle length spring to help with the bolt coming back, and turned out that was the trick. So I shot a few rounds off camera and everything was functioning well. None of the issues that I was having. So why did I build a 14.5 inch 308? Well, the compactness makes it ideal for a truck gun. It's gonna have a lot of damage, and the main reason why is 2025 SHOT Show, Black Hills Ammunition announced that they were coming out with a 110 grain 308 meant for shorter barrels. It's got enough powder that it's gonna have the speed that's meant for a shorter barrel, not a 20, 22, 24 inch barrel. So I reached out to Barnes and they were nice enough to send me some 308 110 grain TTSX. Now this is not meant for a shorter barrel, so I will not get the speeds on the box, but it is a 110 grain. It has their TTSX projectile. That's what it's potentially going to look like, and that's what it does look like. So we're going to put it through put it in front of the Garmin Zero. We're going to test for some accuracy, and then we're going to put it through the gel. I'm only on a 50-yard bay because all the other ones were full, so I'll be shooting down there. I only have a red dot and a magnifier, so without further ado, let's see how these 110 grains do out of a 14.5 inch 308 barrel. All right, I've got a target down there, 2-inch circles, there's 16 of them. The Spark AR that's on top of here, I lowered the brightness of the dot so it's not flaring out some, and it's a little bit better, but I can barely see the circles. Like, you know, it's a 1X at 50 yards. I've got the Garmin Zero here. I'm mainly concerned about the speed and the cavitation in the gel. So let's see how we do in those respects. So I'm going to aim for the top left. I've got 10 rounds in here, and we'll see how it does. Actually, you know what? I'm going to aim for the second row, second from the left. So one of the 4 middle squares or circles. Oh, I do say 2583. $25.66. So a little weak ejection, 2600. Probably need to adjust the gas system a little bit, but pretty good so far. 2566 as a low and 2600 as a high. I'm just going to keep aiming at that same spot. So those are really good speeds. Pretty pleased with that. That was 10 shots. The low was 25.66. The high was 26.19. And 10 shots, spread of 53.2, and then a standard deviation of 14.3. But the last 5 shots, I mean, that standard deviation was less than 5. They were right there. shot list. So 2601, 2619, 2598, 2600, 2602. So those last 5 shots were really, really good. So anyway, let's go down there and check the accuracy. As I mentioned, I was aiming here. This rifle's not zeroed, especially not to that ammunition, but damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will take that any day of the week. I'm excited. I think we're going to do a gel test at 50 yards. Let's get it set up. Andrew from the future. Before I show you this gel test, I'm an idiot because remember how I was just shooting at that target down there? Well, I was aiming for one circle and they were hitting low left because that's where it's zeroed for this setup right now. And I did not account for that when I took the shots into the gel. And then I was doing another video because I changed my shirt and I realized that's why it wasn't working. So I corrected it before I left the range. Here you go, me in a different shirt, same video. Enjoy. I just wanted to let you know that I'm an idiot. All right, 308, 110 grain. Let's go check that out. Wow, that went through both gels all the way to here. That's got to be almost 30 inches of penetration. I don't have my knife. That is beautiful. Oh man, I'm such an idiot. I'm also wearing a different shirt because I realized what I was doing wrong. What a waste. But I figured it out. So 110 grains traveling at 2,600 feet per second, 50 yards from a 308. That is a beautiful projectile and that will certainly do what it needs to do. I'm happy with that. Let's take it back to the house, do a little recap. Back at the house, recap time. This was probably the most impressive gel test that I've done in the history of this channel. So we've got a Barnes VOR-TX 110 grain TTSX projectile. It was traveling at 2,600 feet per second. The standard deviation was on the lower side. There was 1 or 2 that got away from me, but 2,600 feet per second out of a 14.5 inch barrel. And I was testing it at 50 yards because you're gonna match the application. If I'm gonna use this for a self-defense option, then, or a close quarter option, you know, I'm not gonna test it at 100 or 200 yards because it's the wrong application. Is it doable out to those distances? Absolutely, it's very capable. But having those statistics, the 2,600 feet per second, 110 grain projectile, it produced the greatest cavitation I think I've seen on this channel in terms of distance. Now I've had, you know, the 8.6 Blackout and some of the other ones, you know, the 6.5 Creedmoor that I've tested at 100 yards. They've got great cavitation in the first gel, but it rarely transfers over into the second gel. Now again, is that only because I did it at 50 yards versus 100 yards? Maybe, but you could see how it cavitated into that second gel. And you know, the gels are 6 by 6 by 16, I think. I'm almost positive. And I had 2 blocks back to back, and it went almost to the end of the second block. And again, that cavitation traveled through into that second gel. So this is the projectile. You can see how it maintained its shape, and the petals just kind of folded over on themselves with a little twist because of that twist rate. Now it's no 8.6 blackout, but if you have a magazine full of these things and you can get a follow-up shot, you are going to do what you need to do with it. So this idea came to me because of those Black Hills ammunition rounds that are made for shorter barrels. Now this is made for a longer barrel. I bet you the test was done out of a 24-inch barrel, and I did it out of a barrel that was 10 inches less. So to get 2,600 feet per second with 110 grain, that's better than any 300 blackout that I've tested. But again, every application has its own. This was very, very, very impressive. So Barnes 110 grain VOR-TX TTSX projectile, an absolute winner. Having tested this in a shorter barrel 308, what are your thoughts on the performance of this round in that application? Do you use 308 in a self-defense round, a certain application, either home defense, a truck gun, whatever it may be? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. That's going to do it for this one. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. See you in the next video.